Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Globalizers, we are welcoming all the audience and most importantly, our speaker for the day, Mr. Vijender Trivedi from York University, Schulich School of Business. We shall start in a bit as the audience is building. It would be a highly informative webinar for all of you, enlightening in many senses. And we start in a bit. Get ready for the webinar. I would appreciate if you guys can keep your questions ready so that at the later part of the webinar, we'll be taking some questions and we hope to clear those questions as well. So we start in a bit. Thank you. Just hello everyone. Give me a yes in the chat box if you guys can hear me, so that we can really start with our webinar for the day. Thank you, Himanshu. Thank you so much. Thank you, Spursh. Okay, so I'm perfectly audible. Vijender, can we have you on the video, please? And you can have your PowerPoint shared.
Perfect. Give me a second.
Lovely.
Can you view my screen?
Yes, Vijender, looks perfectly fine. Thank you, Vijender, for chipping in for this. And we highly appreciate your readiness to share what York University and Schulich Business School has to offer to, quality students from Central India and, around the country. So thank you so much. And I think you can take over. It's all up to you. And, on the behalf of the entire team of Globalizers, we are super excited to hear about this school and from you.
Great. Thank you, Prashant. Very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Super excited, and I'm looking forward to great interactive session. So I have only one tip for all the attendees. Don't shy away from asking questions, right? Keep your
Absolutely.
questions ready, and I'll try to make this even more interactive than you thought. Okay, so let's start. So what I'll do is, okay, great. So Prashant, I can take it from here, right? Just
Right,
double check.
right, mate. Yes, take it ahead.
Perfect, perfect. Excellent. So, hello everyone. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. I'll give you a quick thing about myself. So, I'm Vijender Trivedi, and I actually graduated from the Schulich MBA program back in 2011. It's been some time, it's been a while. I've worked and lived in Canada for almost 9 years. I've worked in multiple industries, but my business function has always been marketing. So, I've worked for banks, I've worked for retail, I've worked for the government for a bit. So again, not just someone who is, talking to you about Schulich in general, but someone who has actually gone through the program. So you'll get, both the perspectives. So that's me. And I joined Schulich in March to 2020 and moved to India to help Schulich with their operations here in India. So I'm responsible for three things, just so you know. First is, of course, recruitment and admission. So all the applications that we receive from India, South Asia, and neighboring countries. So that's me. So I manage and help with that. And the second pillar that I'm responsible for is our MBA in India program. So we actually have a campus in India, Hyderabad, next to the Hyderabad airport. So everything related to student services and international relations. So again, that's me. The third pillar that I'm responsible for is, as you can imagine, we have a campus here, a dedicated campus. So all the operations. So that's something that I manage as well. So it's super exciting to come back and work for a business school, and especially Schulich School of Business, where I actually graduated from. So just a quick intro about myself. But the important thing is, when I'm sure you're thinking about what's next, you're thinking about MBA, masters, all of that. So I think what the first thing that comes to mind, and something that's very important, is where you do your MBA from, where you do your masters from, because this brand will stay on your resume and on your profile for the rest of your career, right? So one of the best ways to check for that is rankings, right? I know some people believe in rankings, some people don't, but again, it's a quick check to let you know how strong the brand is. I'm sure you've done a quick research, and you know that Schulich School of Business is ranked #1 MBA in Canada by global agencies, like top global agencies, The Economist, Forbes, Corporate Knight, etc. Right? For example, if I pick Corporate Knights, we are ranked #1 in Canada and #2 in the world for the way we teach business, right? So the business and sustainability and the lens that we use to teach business. So it's people, profit, and planet. So those are the three things that we take into consideration to teach business, right? So that is why we're ranked #1 in Canada and #2 in the world for business and sustainability and the way we teach business. Now the question that comes to mind is why? Why Schulich among the world's leading business school, and why is it ranked #1 in Canada? Three reasons. First, we are global. We are truly global. So campuses in multiple countries. So we have two campuses in Canada, in Toronto, north of the city, which is North York, and then downtown Toronto. We also have, as I mentioned, a campus here in Hyderabad, and we have a few satellite centers. We have partnerships with 80 plus management schools. We have 31,000 alumni in 90 countries. And as I mentioned earlier, we are ranked by global agencies. So this shows that we are truly global. The second reason why we're ranked #1 is because we're innovative in the way we approach, in the way we come up with different specializations, courses, programs. So you'll have 18 specializations and 100 plus courses to choose from. So you're actually able to customize your learning. And of course, you have your post-MBA goals. You're able to map your goals through real-life consulting projects, through the courses that you choose. Last but not least, diversity. You will end up working with people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different countries, different languages, and Schulich prepares you for that. How? We have more than 50% of the class is international. More than 60% of faculty come from diverse backgrounds. And that's not it. We also have exceptional program diversity. So if you're interested in for-profit, non-profit, or public sector, we have program diversity as well. So these are three reasons why we are ranked number one in Canada and are among world's leading business schools. The other advantage that you get with Schulich is the Toronto advantage. Very important, right? Because the location where you do your MBA from is extremely important. And with Schulich, you get the Toronto advantage. And I have a few rankings and data to share here. But again, as you're thinking through, as you're evaluating, as you're doing your research, this will help. So you end up studying in one of the most diverse and best cities in the world. More than 55% of Toronto's population was born outside of Canada. And if you look at QS rankings, we are one of the best university cities for international students, right? And if you look at it from an opportunities lens, then with everything that's happening in the US, the major companies, organizations, projects, startups, ecosystems, everybody wants to move north of the border, right? And Toronto is the city. So Toronto is not saturated. It is booming. That is where you want to be, right? And that's why you're ranked number 3 in the world by PwC Cities of Opportunity. And we have the third largest aggregate stock exchange in North America. Now, I also imagine that, once you do your MBA or master's, you want to live and work in Canada, right? And so the other two rankings that I've listed here become even more important, right? We are ranked as the safest metropolitan city in North America. Toronto ranks among the top 5 most livable cities in the world, right? Again, lots of ranking, lots of data here, but again, this is important for you to know. And with Schulich, you get the Toronto advantage, the location. Now let's move to how is our MBA program structured, right? So these are the 3 pillars. The first pillar, which is your year 1, is all about building a solid foundation, right? So you will touch all the functional areas of business: accounting, finance, marketing. You will fine tune your problem solving skills, your presentation skills, right? You will develop skills that is required for global leadership, not just leadership, global leaderships, right? So your year 1 is all about building a solid foundation. Now, the second pillar that you see here is super unique to Schulich. And this is our 8-month strategy field study, right? So basically what happens is in your term 3 and 4, which is your year 2, you form a group of about 5 or 6 students. You work with 2 or 3 faculty advisors and you solve a real problem for a real client. So it's not a quick 3 to 4 week project that you just do some quick research and be done. No, it's an 8-month project, right? So term 3 and term 4, which is your year 2, you will end up doing this consulting project. And as a result, you acquire real world experience. You will start your networking process in your year 2. You will be meeting with the top management because you might want to do, let's say, I don't know, you set up a bi-weekly meeting with the top management, the client that you're helping solve a business problem. You might have a quick brainstorming session, whiteboarding session, right? Or presentation or a research or a deep dive into, discussion that you want to do with your client. You are able to do that, right? And you might end up presenting to the CEO, right? All of your findings, all of your recommendations. So basically in year 2, term 3 and 4, you're acquiring the real world experience that you should, because you're coming from South Asia, you don't have the Canadian experience just yet. This helps you. Last but not least is the third pillar that again is about your year 2, your term 3 and 4. That's where you specialize, differentiate, you explore, right? You have 18 specializations to choose from and you can specialize up to 2 business areas, right? Either functional or cross-functional. Okay, so that's how our program is structured. And if you're interested in specializations, of course, our website lists all the specializations, but here are functional and cross-functional. So let's say you want to specialize in, I don't know, marketing and social sector management. So you're able to do that, right? You have an option of and some people just want to do, let's say, marketing and international business, like two functional areas. You have an option to do that, right? So Schulich MBA, meaning to say Schulich MBA is flexible. You are the one who's customizing. Some people choose to just pick courses from each of these areas and do a very general or generic MBA. And that's great too, because you're learning about business overall, right? So this is how our program is structured. Now I'll talk about three MBA programs. The first is our regular Toronto MBA program. So it's a 2-year program in Toronto. Again, you have 18 specializations to choose from. Graduate diploma option is also available. And you can switch from part-time to full-time, full-time to part-time. There is that flexibility, but again, it depends on your immigration status. But yes, if you choose to, if you wish to, then you can work with our immigration advisor. Like once you get admitted to the program, you gain access to an immigration consultant, right? So that's what happens. But again, that's after all of it is done. That's again optional. But we have a January and a September start. So a winter start and a fall start for this program. And two campuses, Kiel campus, which is our North York campus, and our downtown campus. So this is our MBA 2 years in Toronto. Now, the next program that I'd like to have your attention to is our MBA in India program.
That's interesting.
Yeah, this goes back to what I said about we being innovative, right? So this is a great example where we came up with a dual economy MBA, where you do your first year in India and then you move to Toronto and you integrate with Toronto batch in Canada. And that's where you graduate, you get your work permit, you start working and all of that. So it's a smaller cohort, about 50 to 55 students. It's delivered here, Hyderabad campus, next to the Hyderabad airport. And what happens is faculty from Toronto, they fly to Hyderabad. They teach a course for about 3 to 4 weeks. Again, it's 3 to 4 weeks sounds very short, but again, it's very intensive, very aggressive. So 3 to 4 weeks, they teach a course and then they fly back, right? Of course, this year it's an exception because of COVID, but next year when you are thinking about doing your MBA, let's say September 2021 intake, then of course you'll have the faculty fly to Toronto and then teach you, fly to Hyderabad from Toronto and then teach you a course. We have very good accommodations, all of that is taken care of. The second thing that you see here is our MBA summer work term. So our program starts in September. You finish your year one in April, then you might want to, or you might choose to go to Canada or Toronto in May or June, do your summer work term there. So what I mean by summer work term is an internship. And we help you, we support you with finding that internship, right? So you do your internship for about 2 to 3 months, and then you join or integrate with the year 2 batch in Toronto. And that's where your year 2 is all about, again, specializations. That's when your core networking starts. That's when you start applying for jobs. That's when you do your strategy field study, the consulting project that I highlighted. And of course, you eventually become eligible to apply for a post-graduation work permit. So this is how the course is structured. But something that's even more exciting is our India Advisory Board. So if you look at, we have really strong business leaders on our board. We have Mr. Ratan Tata, we have Mr. Uday Kotak, Mr. Guneet Chadda, Mr. GM Rao, among others, right? So this shows how strong our India Advisory Board is, and you will end up hearing from them. You might end up meeting with them. We organize lots of guest lectures and networking sessions to build, to give you access to corporate India, right? With the advisory board like this, you gain access to other leaders as well. So just thought I should share. And super quick, I know there's always a question around how the program is structured. So this is a good way to show you how. So year 1 in India, courses are taught by our Schulich faculty. Year 2, you move to Canada, you fully integrate with the Toronto batch. That's when you choose electives, you specialize. Then year two, like I said, it's all about strategy field study. Then you start exploring career opportunities in Canada, and then you graduate in June. Of course, you finish your classes in April or May, and then you officially graduate in June, and you continue to work in Canada, right? And one other thing I want you to note is the degree that you get is a regular Schulich MBA degree, right? It's just the program is structured differently to give you best of both worlds, but the actual degree that you get is a Schulich MBA degree. Okay, and the benefits. So you learn about two important economies, right? Businesses are global these days, like I said, right? So it's good to have, get that global curriculum in India, gain access to corporate India. It's a smaller cohort, so you'll have excellent access to faculty, right? So it's more than just academics, life lessons. Third, you'll build a global network in your home country, here in India, and also in North America. And last but not least is the ROI, the cost, right? So best ROI, because in year one, you get or you receive financial aid towards your first year tuition fees, right? This comes from the dean, and it's about $10,000, right, for the MBA in India admits. The other thing you'll save on is the cost of living in year one in Hyderabad. So again, super quick, these are the quick benefits that of the MBA in India program. But again, if you're interested in learning more about this program, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So MBA, 2 years in Toronto, MBA in India program, year one in Toronto, year one in India, year two in Toronto. And our third program is our international MBA program. So it's again a smaller cohort, just 30 students, but the courses are taught, again, the lens that we use is international business, right? Because it's an international MBA. There's also second language development. There's also IMBA, international MBA summer work term that you end up doing. And your year two, again, goes back to areas of specialization. The strategy field study you do becomes international field study. And then again, option to switch to part-time remains the same across all three programs. Okay, so MBA, 2 years in Toronto, MBA in India, 1 year in Hyderabad, 1 year in Toronto, and then international MBA. So those are our three programs. When you think about doing your MBA, I'm sure you have post MBA goals, right? So from day one, at Schulich, from day one, you gain access to a really strong support system, right? And this support system is in place to help you succeed. So there's a center called Career Development Center where you gain access to sector-based career coaches and advisors, because some people might be transitioning to a different sector or different business functions. So you need a coach, you need an advisor as you're going through, that transition. You get individualized coaching and advising, right? And tools, soft skills development workshops. So again, you're moving from South Asia to North America. So soft skills become very important, right? So we have workshop. I just listed one of the workshops, and that's this. Networking. So it's through networking. I'm sure you all know that it's through networking that you find really great jobs in North America. So, and we prepare you for that. So we have on-campus recruitment events, we have year-round corporate networking events, and we also have alumni networking mixes, which is again very important for you to note, because we have a very strong alumni network. They're very well placed. They're in amazing positions, not just in Canada, but across, right, in any other country. If you ever want to move back to India or move to another country, you can tap into the strong alumni network. Career opportunities, again, I won't get into details here, but again, you'll have to look at it more from a Canadian lens, not from a US lens. So this is how our employment has been by industry class of 2019. The best way to remember this is the 90-90-90 rule. So 90% hired within 90% and 90 days of graduation with a $93,000 average starting salary. But this is again what was reported, but the range is anywhere from 60 or 55 to $250,000. But again, it goes back to the industry and the role that that you have applied for and you ended up getting. So there's a broad range. Again, you can look at our website for a deep dive. Student life. again, very important for you to know, because again, when you move to a new country, you'd want to embrace diversity, you'd want to connect, engage, learn, and grow. So we have lots of amazing clubs that you can be part of. We also have a graduate business council, a student council, and of course, a great and very well recognized events that we run in Canada and also India if you join the MBA in India program. So now admission requirements. I know, of course, the information that I provided, it's important for you to know as you're researching. But admission requirements is I think the core, where for the MBA program we do require a 4 year undergraduate degree. So we do accept 3 year or a 4 year undergraduate degree. We look for a competitive GMAT or a GRE score. So again, we accept both GMAT and GRE. From a work experience standpoint, we do require a minimum of 2 years at program start. So let's say you're starting a program in September 2021, it's by then that you need to have a minimum of 2 years. If you have done a 4 year undergrad, let's say you did a 3 year undergraduate degree, then we ask for a minimum of 3 years of work experience at program start. English language test. So at Schulich, this is optional. This is not mandatory for Indian applicants. And the reason being, you have done your education in English. So it's up to you. Like, it's optional. It's not mandatory. If you wish to submit, you can, but it's optional for Indian applicants only. Essays, yes, we do require 2 written, 1 time to written, and 2 video essays. Again, this is where we would like to know more about you, more about your post-MBA goals, your unique skills that you'll bring to the class, to the table, right? And again, how do you think? Like, just to get to know more about you. And last but not least is we do ask for 2 professional references. You've worked with these people, so they know your work style, right? They know your strengths, they know your areas of improvement. So I recommend that you choose really strong references that can tell really good story about you, or can share with us not just your strengths but also a few areas of improvement, because that's how it looks genuine, right? And I also want to leave you with fact that the way we look at every application is we do a holistic evaluation, right? So don't get stuck by, hey, I tried to hit the 700 GMAT score or the 650 GMAT. This thing, I couldn't reach the 650 or the 700 mark. It's okay. It's good to aim for a great score, but GMAT or a GRE score is just one piece of data that you're telling us about yourself, right? There is so much more to your application that we look for. So, just in case you don't hit that mark, don't worry. Focus on other areas of your application so that you can submit a really strong application. From a deadline standpoint, of course, our round one is approaching. It's October 29th. 2020. This is again for our MBA, International MBA, and MBA in India program. Our round two is January 29th, 2021. And of course, international students should apply by round two, because again, you need time to work on your study permit applications. Okay. And of course, we have tuition fees and financial aid. We have lots of loan programs and partners that we work with. Scholarships, we do have merit-based scholarships for international students. And once you join the program, even then, it's not just entrance scholarships. Once you join the program, you have the opportunity to apply for other scholarships. And of course, we have our tuition fees listed here. But a quick note that MBA in India students are awarded a $10,000 bursary. Just thought I should highlight there. So with that, what I'll do is, I think as far as next steps, yes, we do have a Q&A we can discuss. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have at this point. But do attend our events, right? That's where you'd know how Schulich is navigating through, these challenging times. And you'll also get to maybe connect with our current students or alumni. And we also offer pre-admission assessment if you wish to. And then last but not least is you can always contact us, drop us a note, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have for us. And with that, that's it. Now I think we can
Yeah.
move to Q&A.
Great. Wonderful piece of information. And I think it really makes crystal clear about all the possible MBA opportunities at Schulich. However,
Mhm.
Vijender, it would be great because a lot of our students they are
Hmm.
aiming master's programs also.
Okay.
Because with an undergrad of, if somebody has a 3 year of undergrad, then they would need a 3 year of work experience, right?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
of course, conventional 4 year undergrad would require 2 years of work experience, right? But a
Correct.
lot of our students, would want to aim for master's degree also. So it
Got it.
would be great if you can just, in a brief, tell us about master's programs also.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be great. So what I'll do is I will share my screen again. Give me a second.
No problems. And yes, yes, students, you can have your questions posted. We will discuss about the master's program details, and then we will hop onto your questions.
Okay. There you go. Can you see my screen, Prashant?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So these are our Schulich Masters program. So I'll quickly walk you through the programs. I don't know why this isn't moving, but okay. Can you see my screen, Prashant?
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
perfect. Great. Excellent. So again, I'll not talk about the Schulich advantage, but I'll jump right into our master's programs, right? So again, and as Prashant, as you mentioned, not everybody has, more than 2 years. So we do recommend that if someone has less than 2 years of experience, they should consider our master's programs. And these are again 12 months specialized master's program, and again this will help you gain that career momentum with updated credentials, certifications, and skills that you need, right? So we have a couple of programs that I don't know what is going on here, but give me a second. For some reason this doesn't allow me to move through slides, but okay. So we have masters of accounting. So master of accounting, so if you're interested in our MACC is what we call it. So master of accounting, it's CPA recognized, of course, financial accounting fundamentals, auditing, integrated case analysis for accounting. So again, there are diploma programs available as well. So this is our first master program. The second, and I know many of you be interested in this, is the Master of Business Analytics, right? So this is where you become an expert in the booming field of big data and analytics, whether it's marketing analytics or web analytics or business analytics in general, right? So we do have a program called the Master of Business Analytics. And of course, the benefits, you graduate with SAS certification, you'll have a 2-term analytics consulting project, and this program is also recognized by the Vector Institute, and it's an AI institute in Canada. And it's a very well recognized and very well funded and supported by the government and the private sector. So, Masters of Business Analytics is the other master's program that we have. And then the Master of Management in Artificial Intelligence. Again, this is again recognized by the Vector Institute. You'll have a 2-term artificial intelligence consulting project. So again, the focus of the program here is AI technologies, business skills, of course, and then ethics and AI. Again, these are 12-month. This is a 12-month program, and we also have some partnerships with Deloitte and a few other AI institutes or companies or organizations that have projects that they're doing on the side that focus on AI. The next one is the Master of Finance, right? Again, we are a CFA program partner, so it's very well recognized. We specialize in capital markets or risk management. We have professional speaker series and research seminar series as a part of this program. So this is another program that you can choose to maybe research or apply based on your interest and post MBA or post master's goal. The other program that we have is Master of Management. Again, someone who's interested in generic management and they want to look at, and touch all functional areas of business, then this program would be a great choice. It's a graduate business degree for non-business graduates. You also qualify for the accelerated MBA after gaining some work experience. So let's say you don't have your work experience, you join this program, you maybe work for a year or two in Canada, then you can directly do a quick accelerated MBA, and you can
Wow, that's
do your MBA
interesting.
in 8 to 10 months max. So
Very
that's
interesting.
something that you could consider, and I'll get to all the requirements and application deadlines. The next program that we have is the Master of Marketing program. Someone who's passionate about marketing, storytelling, consumer this thing, then of course you'd be super interested in this. And we again have a 2-term marketing field project, because all of our programs, of course, they are specialized and intensive, but also give you the real world experience that you're looking for, right? Through these 2-term marketing field projects where you actually work with a client, right? So you get that experience that you're looking for. The Master of Real Estate and Infrastructure. So if you're interested in this, we also have a master program for that. And again, very well recognized in Canada, in Toronto. Last but not least is our Master of Supply Chain Management. So if you're interested in operations, supply chain management, then you also have an option to choose this course. So if you look at master's admission requirements, and again, so this is Master of Accounting, Master of Business Analytics, Master of Finance, AI, Master of Management, Master of Marketing, this is the Real Estate, and this is the Supply Chain. So from a GPA standpoint, we've clearly highlighted that these are the requirements. B plus, of course, is something that we look for. Prerequisite courses, yes, like of course we want someone who has some strong quantitative background. So let's say you do your 3-year undergraduate degree or 4 undergraduate degree, either in engineering or commerce, then of course you can position yourself and highlight the quantitative courses or subjects that you have taken, and that shows that you have a strong quantitative background. GMAT, GRE, yes, we require them for, we require GMAT or a GRE score for these master's programs, but for Master of Management, Marketing, the real estate one, or the supply chain management, we don't require a GMAT or a GRE. We only require you to have a good GPA, and of course, it's through your essays that we see how well you are positioned to apply for this program and stand out, right? So that's for GMAT or GRE. For essays, yes, we again require 2 written, 2 video, 1 timed essay. Reference letters, yes, we do require 2 professional references. But again, because if you don't have a work, if you haven't worked for a year or 2, then it's okay to submit academic reference. Work experience, as you can see, it's mostly for people with less than 2 years, but some programs like, let's say, Master of Real Estate, we recommend that you have at least 2 years of experience, because the program is structured and you'll only benefit if you have worked for a couple of years. IELTS and this thing, yes, we do require IELTS and TOEFL as language proficiency, but again, you can work with the recruiter to see if your education has been in English, then this is more of an optional requirement. So again, super quick snapshot of master's admission requirements, but again, very happy to answer any questions that you might have. And just from a master's deadline, application deadline standpoint, we are Masters of Business Analytics, Supply Chain, and a diploma in accounting. We have our May 2021 start, which is our entry point, and here are the deadlines. But for the September 2021 intake, it's the same. Our deadline is very similar to the MBA program. So round 1 is October 29th, and round 2 is Jan 29th for all the other programs for September 2021 intake. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Great. So before we really move on to the questions from the audience, I would have my own questions, right? Because I keep encountering them. Can you hear me, Vijender?
Yes, yes, yep.
Great. So I see that our MBA in India would require students to pursue 1 year of their studies in Canada.
Yes.
And all our master's programs, they are of 1 year, right? Now, since you have, lived and experienced Canada, usually students have this very common question that they need to have a 2 year of stay or a 16-month program around to get a 3 year of work permit. And because Canada, of course, people look, for it in terms of great education, but they look it from a PR perspective also.
Right. Yes.
So I just want to understand how there's just 1 year and they'll get only 1 year of work permit, or it is more than 1 year that they'll be getting the work permit. How this PR thing is affected if they just spend 1 year of studies? That would be
Yeah.
first question.
Yeah. So I think for the MBA in India program, again, I'll start with a disclaimer. We are not allowed to advise or comment on immigration related queries. But what I'll do is I can share with you the past data, right? So what has happened in the past? So for the MBA in India program, of course, we are doing our 10th year this year, and more than 99% of students were able to secure up to 3 years of work permit. So with the MBA in India program, it's because it's structured differently. But again, at the end, you get a regular Schulich MBA degree, and you're associated with the Canadian institution from day one. That's the reason we've always, got students had no issue getting a 3 year work permit. So that's for the MBA in India program. So if you choose that, you'll not have an issue. For the master's program, yes, it's once you, like you said, if you have a 12-month presence in Canada, then you can only apply for a 1 year work permit.
Okay, and of course, so we would not get into the how that affects a PR thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could discuss, but again, once you get admission, there are ways that you can work with your employer or with the immigration, this thing where you might be eligible. Some people, what they do is even before they start their program, let's say you're thinking about September 2021, they
Mm-hmm.
put in their PR application right away, like now.
Oh,
And then by the time they start their program, they receive their PR, and then the moment they move to Canada, they are able to, of course, pay maybe domestic tuition fees, right? So there are a couple of ways to navigate through that. But yes, for the master's program, it's usually just 1 year of work permit that you receive.
so on a very generic note, we can say
Mhm.
that it is manageable and students can navigate through this.
Yes, yes, yes. And people have been doing that. Like students have been doing. Again, they choose to do it differently. Some people apply for PR before they get to the program. And second, the moment they start their program, they might use, because again, there are different PR options, right? There's Express Entry, there are other ones. I'm sure that has changed a little bit now. But there are ways that you can, submit and wait. And of course, if you have a Canadian institution that you're studying in, that adds to your score. So I think there is that is another way that you can navigate through that. But yes, to keep it generic and to advise, I think there are ways that people approach that issue and have received PR and all of that post doing their masters, 1 year masters in Canada. So
Great. And I think students, this is very exciting that in some master's programs, where you don't require a GRE, like masters in management and supply
mhm,
chain management and marketing. And
mhm,
because you're from India, you don't need to even have an IELTS also if you're studied from an English medium, right? Language was there. So you can right away go ahead, and do the application, I guess. That's a
correct.
tremendous advantage. And now I think we can take some questions, Vijender, if it's okay.
Sure. Yeah, I just want to highlight that when you start your application, I think one thing is very important, whether it's MBA or your master's. And this might sound very basic, very obvious, but I think that is the core, and that is your why. Why do you want to do your MBA? Why are you thinking about master's program? And the answer should, I mean, it can be that you want to move to Canada, but that's not it. That's not strong enough, right? So talk about your post MBA goals. Talk about why. Talk about the gap, right? So this is where you are. You want to be here. These are your post MBA goals, and this MBA will help you achieve those goals, right? And again, use that lens, your why lens, to answer all the questions, whether it's essays or your interview questions or anything, right? Of course, the answers would be different, but then the moment you use that lens, your why lens, then you'll actually be telling a very good story throughout. And that's exactly what AdCom and recruiters look for.
Exactly, and that's where when we discuss the profiles of the students, the
Mhm.
why becomes the biggest talking point.
Correct.
And when they share their story, then a lot of refinements happen one after the other meetings
Right.
actually.
Yeah.
Great. So let's get started with some interesting questions. Aditi has a question.
Mhm.
For the Masters in Management program, the university website mentioned that students with 3 year bachelor's may be considered for admission if they have 1 year of work experience. How will it affect my chances of being admitted, because she will not have work experience, she'll be graduating next year?
Oh, okay. So yes, for the master's one, you do require it. Was for the MBA one that we accept a 4 year this thing, but for the master's 4 or 3 year, and your work experience kind of compensates for that 1 year, 3 year versus a 4 year. But yes, for the master's, you do require of 4 year, because again, if you look at the prerequisites, it says strong quantitative background, right? So for someone to have a strong quantitative background, you might want to do, or you might need a 4 year undergraduate degree for that, right? So but again, having said that, what I would recommend is maybe submit your profile for evaluation, because maybe you've done an internship or something on the side that could add to your experience, right? Because again, the moment you're submitting or you're reaching out to the school, that shows that you're passionate about this thing, you're committed, you really want to understand the requirements and would like to submit your application, right? So there is nothing wrong in reaching out. Even before you submit your application, reach out to our team, and there is a way you can do that. So and I'll share that the link in the chat box if I can. So that's where you'll actually submit your profile for evaluation. Of course, you'll work with your team at the globalizers, and then approach. But there is a way that you can do that. Give me a second, and I'll share that.
So I think students are always encouraged to connect with the admission committees, and it's not only about Schulich, but like for every school that you want to apply, so
Correct,
that you can
correct.
get a
And you should
better.
do that, right?
Yes,
Even before
absolutely.
you start your application, it's a good idea, because you never know. Like a few things that the AdCom, the way they think, the way they evaluate profiles, you'll be surprised. So I'll just share this link, and here you go. This is the grad inquiry. This applies for masters and MBA programs.
Fantastic. And let's have next question from Simran. She says that I'm currently pursuing Bachelor's of Business Administration, and it's currently a 3 year degree. How much work experience is minimum required for IMBA and MBA? I think you already answered, but maybe you want to put one more time.
Yeah, sure. So if you have done, if you're pursuing a 3 year, then we do require a minimum of 3 years of work experience. So basically, if it's a 4 year undergraduate, 2 years,
2 years.
6 years, and if you have a 3 year undergraduate,
Three
then you
years.
compensate that 1 year with a 1 year of experience.
Vijender, do we have any GMAT, GRE waivers for people who have like extensive work experience, 7, 8, 9 years or something like that?
No, unfortunately not. The only time we waive it off is if you have cleared the CFA level 3.
Ah,
Because again, GMAT is something where it's a common this thing of filter that we use
mhm,
across to filter applicants. So
great. And since you have lived a fair amount of time in Canada,
Mhm.
students want to take advantage of it. That is there a scope for marketing in Canada?
Marketing,
Yeah.
yes, of course. And I'm glad that whoever asked this question is a
Yeah,
great
good
question. And
choice.
because again, I come from marketing background. I have spent digital marketing, everything that you can imagine. I've done TV, radio, out of home, billboards, sponsorships, partnership, digital marketing, everything, social media, anything that you can think of. So yes, marketing, and especially Schulich, the brand, right, is very well known in the industry for marketing, business and sustainability, of course, supply chain management, finance as well. But again, marketing is something that you'll see, and again, one of the best ways to test that is don't attend of course attend a event organized by Schulich, but then step out, go out and attend other industry events, and just say that you're thinking about applying to a Schulich, or you're a Schulich grad, or you're a current student, and the reaction that you get from industry leaders will give you a sense of how strong the brand is, right? So yes, marketing from a Schulich brand standpoint, check, done. From an opportunity standpoint, lots of opportunities, right? And one question that I always get is, of course, and employers do ask this question deliberately, is, hey, you don't have a Canadian experience, you don't know the market here, you don't know the consumer here, how can you market? Right? How can you come up with strategies? How can you come up with, how will you build a brand here when you don't know how people think? So one of the ways that you will position yourself, and I think one of the best ways that you should position yourself if you're thinking on marketing is ethnic marketing, right? You are coming from South Asia. There is so much that you know about South Asia and the consumers here, the brands, and how the way people think, and of course connected with number of people who are from the very same background. Let's say, I don't know, 7%, 10%, 15%, 20% of population in Toronto or north of Toronto are South Asians. So here is a number. And if we use these are the 3 or 4 strategies that you should use. And then here is a plan that we could execute and test it. And this is how we'll be able to penetrate into the market or this segment, right? So you're bringing that multicultural marketing, that ethnic marketing experience, and you are in a better position versus someone who has done their program, lived in Toronto or elsewhere, and not just Schulich, you're also competing against other B schools, right? People from other B schools. So one of the best ways to position yourself is through this ethnic marketing or multicultural marketing. And that is becoming the mainstream marketing in Canada, in Toronto, just so you know. So if you're super interested in marketing, we strongly advise that you start thinking about multicultural marketing, ethnic marketing, because even when I was in the role that I just left at the bank, it was about global money transfer. So of course, people earn money there, they move and remit to other countries. So I was marketing to almost 80 plus ethnicities. So there's so much that you can learn. There's so much that you can bring to the table. And of course, a maximum about 27% of all of that was South Asian. So I had an edge, I had an advantage that I could position, right? At the end, how you position yourself is very important, right? And it goes without saying whether it's your MBA application or your post MBA goals or your job that you're looking for or have you applied for. So, right? So that's how I would approach. And if you're interested in marketing, absolutely, I think that Toronto is the city you want to be in.
Excellent. This comes from somebody who has been into the marketing, and this is quite interesting to know about this whole term as ethnic or multicultural marketing.
Yes, yes.
Pretty
And that is
interesting.
becoming the mainstream marketing
Mhm.
in Canada.
In Canada. Great. Simran, our student has a question for Schulich MBA in India. Is there a way that GRE GMAT can be waived? I guess no. And can CAT would replace GMAT? Is there a possibility?
No.
No. And will students be eligible for PGWP of 2 years? You said that MBA students do get that.
Yes, yes. So if we look at the past data, more than 99% of our students are able to get up to 3 years of work permit. I did the MBA in India program and had no issues. I got my 3 year work permit. I became a permanent resident. I lived there, of course, and then became a citizen as well. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And Akshay has a question. I've completed mechanical engineering with 6.1, which is 58% around GPA, and
Okay.
having 4.5 years of experience in multinational. Am I eligible?
Um, yes and no. So GPA, I think the way we look at it is you'll have to submit your transcripts for us to calculate the actual GPA, because again, we balance it out. We get different transcripts, some have grades, some have percentages, some are on a different scale. So what we recommend is, before we answer and say yes or no, we recommend that you submit your transcript so that we can calculate the way we do, and let you know the GPA. So I think GPA would be the only place I would think we might need to sit down and look at it. But other than that, yes, if you have a mechanical background, 4.5 years of experience, and again, if you have a strong this thing of why you want to do your MBA and you have clear post MBA goals, absolutely, you should feel confident submitting your application. But yes, for GPA, please feel free to use our grad inquiry form to submit your transcripts, and we'll be more than happy to let you know if you qualify from a GPA standpoint.
This is very interesting, Vijender. So students can actually send their transcripts and get their GPA known from your school before they apply.
Correct. Yes.
That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. So, guys, I mean, probably then at this point of time, there's no point of asking that with this percentage you are eligible or not, right? Because, for example, if we see Pune University, we hardly see any higher percentages, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that you are not, eligible. So, I think all the students who are asking that with this percentage, are you eligible? The best way would be to, shoot their, transcript and send them to grad inquiry, right?
Correct. Yes.
Can you furnish that email ID if possible, Vijender?
It's a form, so I just shared the link here, so I'll do that
Okay,
again. Or you can just email us at admissions. I'll just paste that here. So, and you can always mention my name just in case, and they'll be more than happy to forward it to my team here. So there you
excellent.
go. So you either submit your form, submit the grad inquiry form, or you email at admissions@schulich.yorku.ca your resume and transcript, and will be more than. And some people, some students also ask for a one-on-one call. Happy to do that. Again, of course, things get super busy, but in certain cases, we do that too. So just so you
Excellent.
know. Mhm.
And Simran has a question. She's asking that what specific skills you would look for, as far as application for an MBA.
Yeah. So again, as I mentioned, every application that we receive, we look at it holistically, right? So GPA, GMAT, right? Your work experience, your quality of work experience, right? Of course, your references, and again, the funny thing about references, of course, you'll go to people who will give you the best reference. Yes, but again, spend some time with them, discuss with them even before you give their name, because we also spend time. We just don't review the references and be done. We spend time understanding whether this is a genuine reference or something that was just drafted, given it to them, right? So that becomes important. Your essays, right? Because that is where you will tell us your MBA goals, your why, right? So the core of all of this is your why, like why do you want to? And I also want to tell you one thing. It's an interesting thing. So we have rejected people with 770 GMAT, and we have accepted people with 590 GMAT. And the reason being, the person with 590 GMAT had an amazing profile. They just didn't stick to the 9 to 5. They went above and beyond, right? They did lots of extracurriculars, lots of community service, lots of this thing, not just 9 to 5, right? So they just went ahead. And the person that I'm talking about, they actually had a YouTube channel with impressive subscribers, right? And they started something on their own on the side, a startup, right? Of course, they didn't pursue it at a later date, but then that shows that you're not just a regular 9 to 5 and someone who is, an average student. You are someone that has gone above and beyond. So I think your essays, your extracurriculars, your references, your, how did you give back to the community, right? That becomes important. And of course, your interview becomes important. So once, let's say we review your application and everything looks great on paper, but then when we meet you, you're not as impressive as we thought. That's not great, right? So I think you should also think beyond just the application submission. Also think about how will you approach the interview, right? And if you are submitting a genuine and a strong application, you won't have an issue. So meaning to say, all of this becomes important. If you don't hit the GMAT score that you wanted to hit, don't worry, work on other areas of your application. And I'll give you another example. So because of COVID and all of this, people and students, especially candidates, have found opportunities where they can, support the community, right? So they're doing a lot of things online or stepping out, of course, being safe and doing everything that they can, to come up with innovative ideas to support their community, right? And that's really cool. That is something that we want for someone who is wanting to do an MBA, and again, these are the traits of a great leader, right? And that's what we look for in our candidate.
Excellent. And Simran has a very interesting profile. She said that post my 3 year of
Earth is
undergrad.
the third planet from the Sun and the only astronomical object known to harbor life.
That's something nice. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So post my 3 year of undergrad, I'll also have work experience of 2 years, and that would be in bank. And then she's very keen for masters of marketing. Will this act as an advantage or a disadvantage?
Should be okay. I mean, if you have just hit that 2 year mark, then you're eligible for both. Either, it's your choice. You want to do masters, you can do that. Or if you're interested in MBA and you would like to specialize in marketing and strategy, then we do recommend that you opt for MBA. So anything above 2, MBA is recommended. Anything at or below 2 years, masters is fine. So you should be okay.
That's for sure. And Aman is asking scholarship opportunities for courses such as real estate infrastructure.
Yeah, so we do have opportunities. So for scholarships, what happens is two things. Again, I'll share a quick link where you can review our scholarships that are available. But our international students, again, all of them are eligible for merit-based scholarships for all the entrance scholarship, right? So we look at your GPA, your GMAT, and you don't need to apply for scholarships separately. We reach out to you and let you know if you've qualified, and here is the amount. But one thing I also recommend that you should do is these are just entrance scholarships, but there are so many scholarships that you can apply for once you join the program, right? So once you're in your term one, term two, you might be eligible to apply for other scholarships. And here is the link where you can filter by program and check all the scholarships that are available right now. Again, this is a living document or a live page where we continue to update based on partnerships and alumni network, and they come up with innovative scholarships. But what happens is when people start or candidates start their MBA program or master's program, they get so busy they don't look at this page, right? They forget about it. But I strongly recommend that you bookmark this, go back to this page. Of course, we'll continue to send emails and stuff, but again, people and students get so busy that they don't think about scholarships after they join the program, especially for students that come from India. There is a notion that there is only funding or entrance funding that's available, and that's it. But that's not the case. You have lots of other scholarships that you have once you join the program in your term 2, 3, and 4.
Great. And last two questions, Vijender.
Sure.
Because we see it's just 1 or 2 years of difference between having a master's, or maybe you might qualify for an MBA, right?
Yeah.
So Janvi has a question that, what is better, if it's masters of marketing or eventually doing an MBA after like taking some work experience?
My personal recommendation, and here I'm not wearing the associate director hat, my recommendation would be again, if the experience that you're wanting to gain or wanting to get, if that is a good one and it relates to the sector or the business function that you'd like to pursue after your master's, then I recommend that you do your MBA. So get that relevant experience for 2.5 to 3 years and do your MBA. Let's say you're focused on, okay, I'm only interested in business analytics, and I've worked for, let's say, a year and a half, or 2 years in that domain, and I've learned a couple of things. I just want to take it to the next level. If that is the way you're thinking and approaching, then master's is more relevant.
Fantastic.
Okay.
And do you think 12th and high school marks would matter? No. Yeah.
I mean, of course, if you've done your undergrad, you must have qualified and cleared all of that. So we only look at your undergrad. So.
Great. And Vishal's last question, I'll have 2 years of work experience at the start of the program, but my GMAT is 580 with 49 in quants and a very strong quantitative background. What are my chances of getting into MBA program with specialization in finance?
Yeah, so Vishal, 2 years of work experience again. So when we say minimum 2 years of work experience, I also want to, and I think that's, that brings up a very good point, where if you look at our class mix, our sweet spot is anywhere between 4 to 8 years, right? So 80% of the class is anywhere between 3 to 8 years or 4 to 8 years to be frank, right? That's 80% of the class. And then 10% of the class, and I'm talking about MBA. So 10% of the class have less than 3 years of experience or 4 years of experience. And the remaining 10% have more than 9 years of experience. So this is the class mix, right? So let's say you have just about 2 years of work experience, then we do require that you have a good GMAT score. So 650 is what I would recommend that you should aim for if you have just that 2-year work experience mark. Like that's the minimum. Our average is 680, just so you know. But like I said, because if you're aiming for that 650, 680, and you're working on other parts of your application, then 650 also works at times. But again, I recommend that you give GMAT another shot and then apply for MBA.
It's very interesting.
Mhm.
So yes, I mean, we've already pushed a few minutes beyond the time schedule, Vijender. Thank you so much. And all the students, for any further doubts, are requested to, visit Globalizers. This whole wonderful webinar, so informative, would be available at our various social media channels. We're always happy to help you in your test preps, in your counseling to visas and everything. And that's what we bring, the high quality experience of last 13, 14 years in the industry. So Vijender, thanking you from the bottom of my heart for helping our attendees in terms of, developing a perspective that how they should look at a business school and various programs in it as far as their application is concerned.
Of course, very happy. Thank you for having me. And I, recommend that if you have any additional questions, of course, you can reach out to Prashant. But also, if you want, you can email me, get in touch with me. More than happy to work with Prashant and team to, to help you build a really strong application, or to help you think through as you're researching and thinking about what's next for you. Okay, very Pete. Thank you so much, and all the best. Stay safe.
Thank, thank you, Vijender. We call it a day. Thank you so much again. Take
Okay.
care, everyone. Stay safe. Thanks. Bye bye.